Welcome to this channel where I read short stories, whether it's fact or fiction. Hopefully, you enjoy them. Thank you. Our first story is called The Woman Who Followed Me Home. I don't know how to explain this, but something followed me home last year. I don't know if it was a ghost, a demon, or something worse, but I know one thing for sure, it's still watching me. It started on a cold November night. I had just left a friend's house after a late study session and I was walking home alone. My apartment wasn't far, just a 10-minute walk through a few quiet streets. I'd done this walk 100 times before, but that night something felt wrong. It was too quiet. No cars, no distant voices, not even the sound of wind through the trees, just silence. I picked up my pace, shoving my hands into my jacket. I had just passed an old abandoned house on the corner when I heard footsteps behind me. Slow, deliberate. I glanced over my shoulder. There was a woman standing under the streetlight. She was too far away to see clearly, but something about her made my stomach twist. Her posture was wrong, too stiff, too rigid, like she was forcing herself to stand upright. I kept walking, pretending I didn't see her. The footsteps continued, getting closer. My heart pounded. I was 5 minutes away from home. I just had to make it inside, lock the door, and forget about this. But then something changed. The footsteps stopped. For a brief second, I thought maybe she had turned away, maybe she was just another person walking home. And then I heard it, a whisper, right next to my ear. Don't. I ran. I don't even remember locking my apartment door. 1 second I was outside, the next I was inside, slamming the door shut, my breath coming in gasp. I stood still, stood there, shaking, my back pressed against the wood. Silence. I waited. 1 minute, 2 minutes, nothing. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I let out a shaky laugh. Maybe I had imagined it. Maybe it was just my mind playing tricks on me. I dragged myself to bed, exhausted. But as I reached for the lamp, my phone vibrated. A text message from an unknown number. I frowned, unlocking my phone. There was only one word in the message: run. My stomach twisted. I turned my phone off and buried it under my pillow. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, everything felt normal. Sunlight streamed through my window. The city outside was loud and alive, and I convinced myself I had just let my imagination get the best of me until I checked my front door. There, on the outside of the door, were three long scratches, like something had tried to get in. I told myself it was nothing, probably it's just some kids messing around. But that night, as I lay in bed, my phone vibrated again. Another text message from the same unknown number. This time, there was a photo attached. A picture of me lying in bed, taken from inside my closet. I didn't live alone. I moved out the next day. I didn't know what that thing was. A ghost? A demon? Some woman who never really existed? I still get texts sometimes. They come late at night, always from an unknown number. They say things like, I found you, or don't turn around. And sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night feeling like someone is in my room, breathing, watching, waiting. And I know one thing for sure: what followed me home that night never really left. Next story is The Man Who Wasn't There. It started with a knock on my apartment door at exactly 3:33 a.m. Not loud, just three soft knocks. I wasn't expecting anyone. I live alone. My building has a security system. No one should be able to get in without buzzing first. I checked the peephole. There was a man standing outside, but something was off. He was wearing a black suit, not modern, though more like something from the 1940s, slightly faded, as if he had stepped out of an old photograph. His face was pale, his features too symmetrical, like someone had tried to make a perfect human but got it slightly wrong. I didn't open the door. Instead, I waited, staring through the people, my heart pounding. He didn't move. He didn't blink. Then he did something that sent ice through my veins. He smiled. Not a, not a normal smile, too wide, too forced. And then, without breaking eye contact, he raised his hand and waved at me. A slow, deliberate wave, like he knew I was watching. My breath caught in my throat. There was no way he could see me through the peephole. I backed away from the door, heart hammering. I grabbed my phone and dialed the front desk. When security finally answered, I kept my voice low. There's a man outside the door. Silence. The security guy sighed. Which floor? I told him. More silence. And low, almost bored response. Yeah, just don't open the door. I felt cold. What do you mean? A pause, then softer. You're not the first to call about him. A chill ran down my spine. I wanted to ask more, but then I heard it. A new sound. I turned back to the door. The peephole was dark, covered. The man on the other side had pressed his eye against it. I stumbled backward, my breath caught in my throat. I didn't hear him move. And then, no. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, he was gone. But the next night, at 3:33 a.m., the knocking returned, and this time, he whispered my name. Thank you for listening.